Ladies and gentlemen, pay attention. This is your boy, the coach from the WWE. I would like to welcome you to the very first wrestling podcast in the world to take you on a weekly deep dive into classic matches along with legends of the squared circle. Enjoy the discussion. Enjoy the back and forth. There's so much to get into. Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Payoff.
Welcome to an all-new episode of The Payoff. I'm Tom. That's Jeff. TNA, buddy. Old school, 2006, 16 years ago. I'm pumped to cover this, man. Almost to the day. How are you doing?
There's some of these young kids in the ring. This AJ Styles, you never know. Hopefully all these guys can make something of themselves, since this day. And so this is. I always enjoy when we cover some TNA. I had to drop this one in here. You and I were not big TNA followers. I know, shocking, like a lot of the world, we just weren't. And so it's fortunate for us because when we do watch a TNA match, we get to watch the best of the best. And so I don't have to pull a bunch of crap for us, which is nice. And so I'm still feeling the effects of that Fall Brawl WCW, trying to wash the stank off of the show. And so we're going to get there, though. We got some good stuff, I said, lined up this week. And so TNA, yeah, I'm just excited to cover this one. A little bit of a crazy match, nice little build. It's all everything we could ask for. Yep.
Well, I'm pumped to cover this one, and yeah, man, just it's funny. I'm laughing at you as you're talking because you're like talking about TNA like it's in the past, and it's like still in business, still going strong. I mean,
it is. I know. Yeah.
I just wonder, is it like the same people that have been watching it for 20 some years? Is it new people? Like, I don't know, but I mean, like, they still have pay-per-views. People still buy the pay-per-views. People still go to the shows. Like, they have a following, man. And it's like, how much wrestling can one, like, then I'm like, are these people that also just watch WWE and AEW and whatever else is out there, Ring of Honor, and there's a group of wrestling fans, I don't know, call it 50,000 or 100,000 that just watch everything, absolutely every piece of wrestling content that's on nationally. Like, people ordering these GCW pay-per-views, are they just into GCW, or do they just watch independent wrestling, or are they like AEW fans too but don't watch WWE? Like, just very curious about that. Like, I've always found it interesting.
I'm not one to gatekeep. And so if they're watching wrestling and they are loving what Impact and TNA is doing, you know what? They got some great wrestlers on the show. And
I love it.
I'm with you. Totally.
Like crazy.
Yeah, I hear you.
But then I'm like, all right, if you're into Impact, how do you not watch WrestleMania? Like, how can you love wrestling that much? Again, it's just interesting. So, well, let's jump in this one. It's time for the build.
Oh, it's time for the build.
So, there's been so many different companies over the years that have been in this, like, Orlando filming. It's like WCW did it, TNA, did it. I feel like some of the other, like, random things that popped up, like the XWF, like, so many different places over the years have filmed wrestling in Orlando.
AEW.
Yeah, AEW. I mean, it's like, should I have lived in Orlando? I mean, think about, like, some of these people that live in Orlando. Bunch of TNA shows, bunch of AEW stuff recently, NXT stuff.
I wish I had known about Full Sail was a thing when you and I were in school, because I have a feeling like you and I would have ended up at Full Sail.
Oh yeah, like it's crazy. Like, I mean, just what a cool place to live. Like, if it was like, I mean, it's like the epicenter of, like, wrestling. Like, I feel like there's a lot of wrestling that you would have gone to over the years, and cheap too. Like, I mean, this stuff you probably just had to buy a pass to Universal, or wherever these things are shot, and that's like buy an annual pass. Like, there's probably no additional charge. So I don't know, man. But September 24th, 2006. The Impact Zone. Dark match of Bobby Roode defeating Von Doring in 4 minutes. Show starts off, Eric Young defeating A1 in 6 minutes. Jay Lethal defeating Petey Williams in 7 minutes. Abyss defeating Raven and Brother Runt, who were Spike Dudley in a no DQ match. The Naturals, which is Andy Douglas and Chase Stevens. I don't know who Chase Stevens. I was thinking Aaron Stevens. Sammy and Damian Sandow. But no, this is Chase.
Oh, no. Yep.
Yeah. Defeating a bunch of other teams in a tag team battle royal for number one contenders for the tag team championship. Senshi is going to keep the X Division championship in 17 minutes, defeating Chris Sabin. Christian Cage is going to defeat Rhino in a singles match in 16 minutes. Then the match we're here to cover, an Ultimate X match for the tag team championships. AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels against LAX. And then the main event of this show was Samoa Joe defeating Jeff Jarrett in an 11-minute fans revenge lumberjack match. I have a feeling that match was a little bit of a letdown after what we're about to watch. And I don't even know why you picked this match, by the way. I'm assuming it's just a fucking killer match. But
match of the year.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
TNA, yep. And so there you go. And so kind of getting into this one, yeah. That was it was the biggest reason. Like I said, I covered it a lot at the top of the show, but why it is, and it's crazy to see some of those names kind of the really the last 4 matches were dead on. I mean, you got Abyss and big friend of the payoff and loves being on the show, Raven as well too, and so. A lot happening here, but kind of the story on this one is, yes, like I said, this was the TNA match of the year, this No Surrender 2006. And so we're taking place at this point, it's September. And so end of September. So LAX, Latin American Exchange, and their storylines at this point, I'll start with LAX is really a stable that was a revolving. It was really the NWO in regards to how many people that were in this group. And so all kinds of different people. This is the, at the time, who was it? Hernandez and Homicide were two of the names on this one. But then also, as we all know, Conan from WCW days as well too. And so their angle on this one, whether it was insensitive or not at the time, as though them playing up some of the angles that they were discriminated against because they were Latino, that that the members were all Hispanic, that they were not being given opportunities by TNA and NWA because of who they were. And so they really, though, became fan favorites and kind of how they were portraying it, though. They kind of there was a period there where they had like a militant focus, but they kind of backed off on that a little bit. And so that would not fly nowadays, but, they kind of, just the pride in it and things like that. And so doing a good job of that. And so they had it too, where they would actually they had a cool border around the Spanish announce table. And so they wouldn't allow non-Latino people around, just kind of a little weird, but hey, it worked. And so so LAX would go after wrestlers that would come around it. And so they weren't working at this point. And so it's part of the storyline. And so Jim Cornette, actually running the show, commissioner at this point, declared that since they weren't going to work, that also means they weren't going to be paid. And so they ended up having a couple matches, things like that, just all part of the storyline, kind of doing it. They actually had an angle here where they offered a little bit before this, actually in July, it was Ron Killings, R-Truth. They were offered him to join LAX. I can't imagine what that storyline was like. I'm gonna have to go back and kind of do some research into the Ron Killings potentially joining LAX. And so after him turning down the offer, though, there ended up being a tag match. It was a Victory Road with Homicide and Hernandez and Ron Killings and Sanjay Dutt going after each other. And so that was actually, I looked up, we'll see the move a little bit here, as they referred to it as the border toss is the finishing move. But this is, and even I was not familiar, but I was like, gotta look this up. It's really like a variation of the Razor's Edge. And so if you hear them talking about it, he's got them rolled up and stuff like that. It looks a little bit stiffer than the OG Razor's Edge, but that's what we're looking for at this point. So With that, though, on the flip side, the other team here, we got AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels, like these guys, and over that summer, a tag team, they actually made an open challenge to any team on the roster. And so part of that was LAX. And so them getting jumped, making the offer. It was actually kind of a cool, weird, whatever you want to call it, spot where they actually signed the contract to take them on in blood after they made AJ and Christopher Daniels blood. So it was literally signed in blood, which, cool little angle there. Seeing that, it doesn't go over well, but that's okay. And so they actually had on August 24th episode of Impact, they actually had LAX beating Styles and Daniels. It was a border brawl to win the NWA World Tag Team Championships. It was a rematch of a match from Hard Justice. And so because we got to this match, though, because rematch clause, haven't talked about a rematch clause in a long time. They
don't exist anymore.
They don't exist anymore. Yeah. And so it was actually the next week on Impact, them, saying, hey, it's time, rematch clause for this No Surrender 2006. This then being the first ever tag team Ultimate X match. And so we've had Ultimate X matches before. We'll see it when we're in the ring of the belts kind of hanging over and kind of making the X with the ropes and stuff like that, which will come into play. But hey, I'm excited. If nothing, hashtag rematch clause. Let's do this. I'm ready to get into it.
Dude, I'm like really pumped to cover this. I don't know. We've watched a handful of TNA matches that have all just been ridiculous.
I have never won. I will not steer us wrong on the TNA matches. Like I will find us lots of bad WCW matches, but we have too much untouched TNA and New Japan for me to give you and our fans a shitty match. And so we're gonna do this one, and this is gonna be a good one. You can hear it. I'm excited too. I haven't watched much of it other than kind of reading, and even the reading didn't give a whole lot away. So let's do this, man.
Good. Well, we're watching this on Daily Motion, but my partner in crime here is a fucking Boy Scout and wanted me to tell everyone to go to impactwrestling.com.
Don't pirate. That's right.
Yep. Watch the official version, not the pirated version. We're starting off on the 3-minute mark of Daily Motion when they're all in the ring and making announcements, but you should go somewhere else and watch it.
That's right.
Don't pirate.
It's all about the ads. Hey, I know. Yeah, we have an Impact subscription too, and so but we're trying to help everybody out. So, all right,
you ready for this one,
buddy? I am. You can hear it. Let's do this, man. It's like a big boss man match for me. Let's do this, man.
All right, it's time for the payoff.
Oh, it's time for the payoff.
Homicide and Hernandez, the Latin American Exchange.
So we got the ring announcements going on here. We got the 4, what would you call those, like scaffolds?
Yeah, scaffolds. And we'll get right into it too. Here we go.
The Ultimate X. Yeah, so we're
Don, cables are in place.
Not wasting any time right now.
Championship belt hanging from the center. You're going to make your way across those cables and take down the belt to win it. Daniels catches Hernandez. Oh, with a kick, and then AJ.
Yeah, this thing's going to be, no pun intended, but total nonstop action, huh?
Yes. So you can see it. Yeah, the belt's hanging. There's cables crisscrossed across the top.
Walk us through the rules again. Just like what exactly are we trying to do?
Yeah. So it's really unlike a ladder match, and so the belt is suspended above the ring. There's the 4 scaffolds, like you said. So we got a 6-sided ring and 4 scaffolds that are making an X shape above the ring, and so the belt is hanging in the center of it, and so. You got to find a way to get up there and get the belts. And so that's what this is going to boil down to. We're going to see what happens here. Yep. And so, big kind of German suplex there, kind of tossing AJ.
How do you feel AJ Styles has been used the past couple of years?
Not as great lately, but I do think that the man can't have a bad match though. So I wish I would see more of him, but that's because I'm just such a big fan. So at this point, you got Homicide is actually climbing one of the scaffolds to get up to the top. And now here's the problem: is he's hanging from the ropes because the belt, you probably got about 6 to 8 feet to go after you get to that top of that little scaffold. And this is there's not a platform or anything. This is just the metal, and then you're up there. So, yep.
Yeah, I feel the same, and I feel the same about AJ Styles. Look, he's not going to wrestle another 10 years probably. His style is kind of based on really strong in-ring work. So I don't know. I'd like to see him have, some memorable stuff before he hangs it up.
I'll be honest, I could see him going to AEW. Because I think he's wrestled everybody he wants to in WWE. And so, he had some good runs. He had some good stories, had some great matches. But I feel at this point, you just, here's AJ jumping, not even really using the scaffold, just climbing the turnbuckle. Now he's climbing across this rope. He's hanging so you can grab his feet, and that would be Homicide kind of swinging him now in the black, and kind of dumping AJ onto the ropes there. Yep.
Oh, man. And the drop from that kind of a distance, Don, it's bad enough. And then when you lay it.
The problem, and I get it. I mean, you could have this in a 10,000 seat arena, but you're going to sell 1,000 tickets. So I get having it in there, but it is tough, man. That's the thing with the WWE is that, nothing really beats them filling a football stadium up, right?
Yeah, it really doesn't. Yeah, which every indication is WrestleMania tickets are selling like crazy. They were really happy from all the articles I read.
Yeah, for not announcing anything and doing the 2 nights. I mean, I guess we're at a place where we're going to sell, 50 to 70,000 tickets.
Whoa, hello.
2 straight nights. Yep.
Homicide going for a cannonball, diving to the outside, kind of didn't get it all, and so he's in the front row now with Christopher Daniels. Yep.
I mean, we're at a place where we're going to do, again, 50 to 70,000 per night, 2 nights in a row. Wow. Great.
And AJ just kind of moonsault, standing moonsault to the outside. Yeah. And I think it's interesting too. I just saw it not that long ago. It was announced while WrestleMania is kind of doing the 2 nights, Wrestle Kingdom's going back to 1 night. And so after they were at 2, so I think it'll be interesting to see how, obviously different market, different styles, but it will definitely be interesting to see how that kind of plays out now. If it's, still as big a deal, you don't have as many matches necessarily. Like they're talking about doing a New Japan Stardom kind of show here again in the US. And so it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. So, okay. So you got Homicide and Hernandez kind of taking on, they got Daniels in the middle. AJ's trying to crawl back in. This guy's just kind of going out. Here's AJ again, springboard. Oh, getting caught there by Hernandez. Yep.
It is. I mean, you could tell how much younger he was here, just kind of the way he moves around. I mean, still great, but it's just, he looks like he's 40 now.
Oh, hello.
Yeah.
It's going to toss him like a bag of rocks across the ring. Fans seem to be into it, though. Hernandez, big guy. Yikes. So, no, and while this is a tag match, we are not doing any, no tags, though. But everybody is in the ring at the same time in this one.
How many pay-per-views were they doing at this point? Were they doing a monthly or like quarterly?
I don't know. Good point. We'll look it up and kind of get back to you on that.
I'm curious.
Here is the introduction of ladders now at this point. Come on, they
slide that ladder in. Hernandez went outside.
Okay, so that makes sense. We can use a ladder. We don't have to slide across these bungee cords or whatever you describe them as.
So, yes, they were doing monthly pay-per-views at this point.
Okay.
So I'm looking at, 2006, I was kind of curious, looking at this list of what we had. And so the main events on this one, so we had Jeff Jarrett and Samoa Joe as the main event on this one. Then you had Jeff Jarrett and Sting. Then you had Kurt Angle and Samoa Joe. That's, of course, when Kurt Angle kind of showing up for the first time. We covered that match. Kurt Angle versus Samoa Joe again. You had Abyss versus Christian Cage versus Sting. Then you had Christian Cage versus Kurt Angle, Christian Cage versus Samoa Joe. And then you had Angle through most of 2007, Angle kind of riding the show. So it's interesting, like these guys, Christopher Daniels, AJ was only in one main event, and it was multi-man matches in 2006, 2007. Samoa Joe kind of carried the promotion in 2008, and then 2009 is really when AJ, the end of it is when he really started getting a lot of pay-per-views here. So you got Hernandez tossing Daniels just across the ring. Fans enjoying it though. Everybody on their feet. Yeah.
So we had Ric Flair's retirement match.
Yep.
Will we get another big retirement match?
Well, I saw that DDP turned it down. I don't know if you saw that line or not, too. The Conrad
what was he turning down? I mean, was he going to be on that show? Was he going to have his own DDP's final match?
I think from how I read it was that Conrad offered him his own kind of final farewell type thing. And that DDP turned it down.
Well, like, you're never going to, I don't know. I mean, I guess is this going to be like the new thing that Conrad does, and he's going to do a couple farewell matches a year, and like Bret Hart can have his own next year? I mean, so I heard SummerSlam's going to be in Nashville again next year.
Yeah, I saw that rumor, as well, too.
So next summer, are we going to do, Mick Foley's last match?
So here it is on the DDP Snake Pit podcast. Revealed Thompson had approached him as well on having an event built around him. He quote, "It's nothing I'll ever do," DDP said. Conrad was like, DDP, you'd be perfect to do one of these. I was like, nah, bro, I'm good. I had my last match. It's never going to be better than that. I was lucky enough to have all my boys around me, and it was fun. I'm good with that. Interesting take.
Yeah. So, but Mick Foley's last match next summer?
We'll get more of them. I think you could turn it into a thing.
Bret Hart's last match?
Yeah.
I mean, if you do, here's the thing. If you do the tag team route or you do the 6-man, what do you want? You want, let's just take Bret Hart, for instance. We know that Bret can't take bumps, right? If Bret Hart dyed his hair black and got into a little better shape and came out one more time, sharpshooter, jump off the middle rope, do a roast of him. I mean, seriously, like that, the same blueprint. Could we get that?
Yeah, I think so.
I could see Bret Hart. I could see Mick Foley. I could see Kurt Angle.
I think Angle will be back. Yeah. A big spot there. You had Hernandez kind of getting the drop, or that was Homicide, kind of almost like a RKO.
Homicide now going up, and the teamwork, and they get
Bulldog.
Reverse Bulldog there. Yep. And so a crazy spot. And that's probably about at least 10, 12 feet. Maybe 15.
It's a good point that you kind of get used to watching the match now. You realize that you don't realize how high that is.
Yep. I know we've discussed this before. I am a fan of the 6-sided ring as well, too. I think it kind of serves its purpose. And so, hey, I'm all for, hey, give me something different. Give me something new.
Yeah, I think they should have kept it. I think it's fine. I don't think it's that gimmicky. It's a little bit different, but not like crazy different. It opens you up to do some kind of interesting spots that you couldn't otherwise do. So.
Back up Tom's, and you can see Homicide. Look at this. Oh, Daniel stops him.
Climbing those ropes. Good grief.
Yeah.
Reminds me of gym class, man. Like, Jesus. Oh, yeah. So he pulled his legs down, Hernandez, onto Homicide, and so kind of doing like a splash onto him. Conan trying to get him back up. Not a spot fest. I am glad to see that. It's just some actual action going on here. Fans cheering. It looks like. Yep, kind of get them into it. AJ Daniels trying to get up.
You didn't really give me a good answer though. I want to know.
I'm sorry.
If you're going to have is there going to be another retirement type thing? And who do you think realistically could it be?
Well, I think we probably saw. I think short answer is yes. I think we saw like Austin's. I think
would Conrad be able to get Hogan for one?
I doubt it.
I don't know physically if he could do it, but again, what do you? I mean, I hate saying it, but what do you really need to do physically? I mean, I know there was a lot of hype over. Flair was in good shape. Look, I liked it. I paid for it. I had no issue with it. I supported it. He looked fucking terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I actually thought he looked way better when he was training with Jay Lethal than he did in the actual ring. I mean,
it went too long. Yeah.
He went long. He couldn't do the superplex. He got super dehydrated. Like, I actually thought he looked better leading up to it. Again, I didn't care. I was cool with it. Glad I bought it. Killed a couple hours. It was fine. But the thing is, it's like, physically, what do you really need to do? You know, you need to just make sure you don't die. And, you know, you take a bump or two, you take a body slam, you take some chops, some punches. You know, you just don't have to do a whole hell of a lot. And the people there love you. You're not going to attract people that are going to boo you. So it's like, even if Hogan did one, the people that were there would love him. He probably couldn't drop a leg anymore, but, you know, he'd figure out something to do. He'd blade. He'd wave the American flag at the end of the show and pose, and people would go nuts. You just don't have to do a lot.
I could see Mick Foley doing it. I could see Kurt Angle doing it, especially since Foley was front row. He got to see it all. I think that we will get.
And Jeff, that's my point, is that, like, I think there are certain, like, well, Taker, he wasn't going, oh, I want one of these. Because if he's going to get one of those, it's going to be in, you know, a football stadium with 70,000 people. But Mick Foley, I bet you he's like, you know, go through a couple tables, take a big bump, you know, come out here in the flannel shirt and wrestle. Yeah, I could do this. It'd be an excuse to get into shape, right? Like, I could see a Bret Hart doing it. Hey, make a weekend about me and a roast and stuff like that. So
we got a table set up on the outside.
Going to go for that border toss. You got to see it. Daniel's able to hold on to his partner and catch Hernandez with the kick that doubles him over. And you can see now the double teamwork as Daniel's sends.
Table on the outside.
Big frog splash there from AJ. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Moonsault there from Daniel. So we're going back up top with AJ again. That's something else. We're flying high again. Oh, yep. There we go. Whoa. Corkscrew somersault there. Okay.
Wow.
One thing after another. Oh, Briscoe killer.
You know, one thing I was thinking about, Jeff, is, like, I don't necessarily think we stop and think about this enough. Like, think about, and again, I don't watch TNA, but I'm sure the wrestling's awesome. But, like, let's just talk WWE and AEW. How often, like, how good is the wrestling right now? How, you know, you watch, oh, geez, no way.
Is he going to do it? Is he going to do it on the table? Oh, here he goes.
Yep.
Wow.
That was a style splash to Homicide off the ring apron through a table. That was crazy.
Wow. Well, there's just no bad wrestling. I mean, you throw on an AEW show, is there going to be a bad match? Probably not, especially on a pay-per-view. Yep. WWE. Anymore, it's like, it's great. You know, you have two women's matches that are both really, really good. You know, that used to be like the popcorn match.
Yep.
The tag team, I mean, you put the Usos in there with anyone, they're going to have a great match.
Always.
The main events, I mean, Roman Reigns, the last time he had a bad match was 3 years ago. Right. I mean, who the hell even knows? It should be, you just go, I mean, it's just, the wrestling is just so good. We're spoiled. I mean, it didn't always used to be that way. All right, so this is...
Top of the truck. This is absolutely crazy.
He's avoiding Conan.
No way. No way. He's got it. Take it down. Take it down. He's up there, Daniel. He's got it. And they try to do it, but he's got it down.
The one guy needed to grab the belt.
Yep, that's all they got.
NWA World Tag Team Champions, the phenomenal AJ Styles and the Tornado, Christopher Daniels.
They've regained the titles. That was unbelievable.
So fans going nuts, crazy finish.
Yep.
Catapults himself to get that. AJ back in the ring. Styles flash off the ring apron onto the table.
Great spot there. Yep.
Great spot. Great match. You picked a winner, my friend.
Hey, I try for you. Yep, absolutely. So, all
right, let's jump into.
Ho! It's time for the aftermath.
All right, what'd you think?
Good stuff. Yeah, that was definitely exceeded. I think It feels weird because I feel like if that was the match of the year for 2006, I really wonder, like, was there not something else? Like, it just
just for TNA or for all of wrestling?
This was the TNA match of the year. And so I wonder, like, this guy is, I can't think that was the best. It was good. I think maybe I was looking for a little bit more, but was kind of, tease my score a little bit there.
So what was the overall wrestling match of the year that year?
I will look it up as we're kind of talking.
I know. I already have it up.
Oh, well, I don't know. For 2006, I have no idea.
2006, it was Shawn Michaels, Vince McMahon at WrestleMania 22.
Okay. Interesting choice, but there you go. So I don't know if that
you want to hear some crazy shit, okay? And this is the PWI match of the year. So obviously, a few different match of the year stuff out there. You want to hear some crazy shit? The final final 7 years of Shawn Michaels' career, he was in the match of the year. WrestleMania 20 triple threat match. WrestleMania 21, Kurt Angle. WrestleMania 22, Vince McMahon. 2007, John Cena, Iron Man, or I don't know if it was an Iron Man match, but just hour-long match on Raw in London. 2008, Flair WrestleMania match. And then the last two were the two Taker matches. Final 7 years of his career, PWI match of the year. Also 96 against Brett, 95 against Diesel, 94 against Razor, 93 against Marty. But go ahead and tell me how Ric Flair was the greatest in-ring wrestler of all time.
2006, Meltzer gave it to a Ring of Honor match. So, yep.
Yeah, different opinions, but
I'm with you. Yep, absolutely. So, good little piece of trivia there too. So, kind of what happened after this one, and so you had so this was Bound for Glory, which was the next pay-per-view on this one. Styles and Daniels, they lost the titles back to LAX. It was a 6 sides of steel match, and so just a steel cage match. And then Genesis 2006 actually had a falling out, and so they had when Daniels got involved and cost AJ a match against Christian Cage. And so, and so after the LAX on this one, they ended up feuding with America's Most Wanted, which was James Storm and Chris Harris, by attacking them. Of course, you also had them attacking Gail Kim, getting her involved as well too. And so just story kind of kept going. So, nothing too crazy. I won't get into it too much. And so, PWI on this one. So you had AJ was 13, Daniels was 15, Hernandez was unranked, and Homicide was 159. Couldn't find anything on Torch on this one, but Observer Newsletter gave this one 3.5. Daniels ended up climbing up on the top of one of the Ultimate X stands up there above the cables and ended up jumping from the stand all the way to the middle of the cables where the belt was hung. Conan tried to stop him by throwing his cane at him, but Daniels got the belt and fell down to win. Finish was incredible, and the place went nuts on their feet and bowing to Daniels. He had the look on his face. He had that look on his face where he knew it was incredible and lucky as well. In fact, they showed a replay, and had he not made it, he probably would have died on the jump. It sounds extreme, but he hit the middle of the cables with his chest. Had he not held on, he would have flipped over and probably landed on his head from 12 feet up. I don't want to come off as overly critical, but it seems like this promotion is determined to have someone die at one of their pay-per-views. So, we'll have to watch a little bit more to prove that or not. So,
I guess I don't know. I mean,
who knows? But 3.5 on this one. So, I'm going to give this one. I'll go first on this one. So I'm going to keep it at a 7. I think that maybe we just got to watch more TNA. I don't think it was a bad match. It was a good match. There was a lot of good action. I thought the Styles Clash spot was incredible. I'd give it, an extra point or half a point just for that because it was fantastic. I definitely enjoyed it, but I think that it was compared to some of the other stuff we've been watching lately, it was maybe not on par with that. And so everyone can disagree with me. You can disagree with me, but I'm going to stick with a 7.
You gave it a 7?
Yes.
Yeah. 6.5.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, car crashy. Just
yeah.
Didn't do it for me, man. I mean, the ending was good and there were some cool spots, but I didn't really feel like I was like, oh, okay, there's a natural thing. I mean, there was nothing like I didn't really think like there's much psychology to it.
Yeah, I think let us know Twitter. Like, what are we? I don't know. I can't really pinpoint what it was missing, but it was definitely there was just that one little spark that was missing. And so, good match though. But again, would not tell someone to go out of their way to find it either, even though it is the TNA match of the year. So, okay, cool, good stuff though. Hey, I love me some TNA though.
I do too. I mean, I like watching these matches. They're fun to watch, and I mean, you think about like, I mean, there's probably like 50 to 100 TNA matches that are really, really good, right? And I couldn't even begin to guess or name them. But like, I mean, you have Sting in there, you have Kurt Angle. You got all of AJ's stuff, Joe's stuff, the Joe Angle stuff. I mean, there's probably so much stuff in there that they did that's just great. That I wish more people would have saw. I mean, I've said it before, but Kurt Angle, he'll just say like, man, like the best stuff I ever did, no one ever saw. Slight exaggeration, but that's a shame, man.
Well, I'd say too, Twitter, let us know what TNA matches do we need to cover. Right? We can pull lists and things like that, and the internet always has opinions. But Twitter, let us know what you're thinking. Instagram, comment on our stuff. Let us know what you're thinking of this one because we want to know too. We want to watch it. We want to bring you guys good matches, and we want to watch good matches too. So that's what we're all about here.
Loved it, man. That was fun.
All right. Don't forget, of course, it's the cooling off in those fall months at this point. Don't forget manscaped.com, 20% off using our code payoff20. It's payoff20. Manscaped.com, you're getting free shipping. You're getting 20% off. You got all kinds of great stuff in the store, whether it's the lawnmower, the weed whacker, the shears, the lip balm, like whatever you're looking for, cologne, like they got everything. And so make sure to check it out using that promo code payoff20, payoff20 at manscaped.com.
All right. Well,
that's all I got, man.
Yeah, we've got you prepared a very nice slate for us for the remainder of the year, I must say.
Well, it was funny because we were talking about doing these matches, and then I've had this on a note for I feel like the better part of a month, and then I went, oh shit, like I got to send this list to Tom, yeah. And so we've got really into October now. At this point, we've got some good a busy October. We got a busy November. We're not going anywhere. We got a lot of good matches, but I got some good stuff I'm looking forward to as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you some of the ones that caught my eye. The Bret Hart Tom McGee match will be a lot of fun. Yep. DDP Goldberg. Again, Goldberg just said that was like his favorite match of his career.
Yep. We've talked around that one. I'm ready to watch that one again. Yep.
I can't believe 170 episodes in, we're just covering the Montreal Screwjob.
Right. You're welcome. Yep. It took a while.
Savage Steamboat match from Wrestling Classic 85.
Don't remember that one at all, but I had it high ranked and I was like, yep, that's one that we got to make sure we have on the list because I'm excited for that one. Yeah.
A Sting Flair match from 89. I mean, and that's just a few, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
We got some good stuff lined up here. Like I said, I would not steer our fans wrong. I will say the interesting thing, that Savage Steamboat Flair, which we're covering eventually here, 4 minutes. So lots going to have to happen real quick on that one. So I'm excited about that one. So we will see what happens. And then, yeah, like I said, I don't know how we made it as long as we did without covering the screw job, but happy November, man. Here we go.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. So, as always, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week on an all-new episode of The Payoff.